What if an appliance emergency didn't have to be? If your appliances suddenly decided they were done, don't stress. Best Buy has you covered with a wide variety of major appliances from trusted brands, in stock and available now. So you don't have to worry about laundry piling up, refilling the fridge, or that big dinner party you're hosting. Because Best Buy has the knowledge and expertise to get you the right appliance for your home. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
At Chipotle, we also have a playlist. Guacamole as it's being hand mashed, the sizzle of adobo chicken on the grill, the chopping of onions and cilantro. We call our playlist Real. Order now. Chipotle, for real.
Hellmann's believes they can turn any mayo hater into a lover. So, if you know someone who thinks mayo equals bland, show their taste buds the truth and challenge them to try Hellmann's flavored mayo. With irresistible flavors like Hellmann's spicy mayo, garlic aioli, chipotle, and Italian herb, they'll be eating their words. Challenge haters to try Hellmann's flavored mayo and get them to eat their words. Learn more at hellmanns.com/eatyourwords.
Pie in the Sky Media. This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back and happy Halloween, Murder Chronicles Nation. All right, Carolyn.
I know you're gonna
name one thing. Name something important that Edgar Allan Poe and I have in common. What would you think it is? There is something that the late great Edgar Allan Poe and yours truly have in common. What do you think it is?
Is this like physical attributes, or is this?
I don't know any of his physical attributes, so I don't know.
Well, look him up.
If you give up, just say you give up and I'll tell you.
No, I've got to think.
I'll give you a hint.
What? Oh my gosh, way to drag it out. I'll give you a hint. You're letting me gulp my soda.
He basically reveals this in his writings. The thing that we share.
I feel like anything I say is going to be sarcastic, so why don't you just tell me?
We both have crippling cases of claustrophobia.
I didn't know that about him.
Look at his writing. Look at Telltale Heart, buried alive underneath the floorboard. Look at Cask of Amontillado, buried alive behind the brick wall. He even wanted to be buried in a casket that had a string and bell system. So if he woke up alive in a casket, he could.
Oh my gosh,
alert.
That's literally like Serpent of the Rainbow.
The Serpent in the Rainbow. I remember that movie.
Who doesn't have that? I do too.
Yeah.
It ruined me.
Yeah.
Like that idea of, I am alive. Like, what is that when you're locked in? Like, isn't that the worst?
Yeah, there were a couple of movies that really freaked me out. There was a movie called The Vanishing.
Yes. Oh my gosh, when she had to know?
Yeah, he had to know. He had to know. Kiefer Sutherland.
He had to know, but it was Kiefer Sutherland, right?
And Kiefer Sutherland and...
I love that movie, but I hate that movie.
Yeah, and the dude, Jeff Bridges, was the bad guy in it.
Jeff, okay, here's something you've got to know.
Yeah.
I fucking love Jeff Bridges.
Oh, so do I. I remember watching, I shouldn't have watched Against All Odds when I was a kid, and I was like, that guy's a pimp. He was awesome. Remember that with James Woods?
I like him in other things, but I just love him. I just
all right,
love
favorite
him.
Jeff Bridges movie. I have mine. You go first. Go.
The Big Lebowski.
Okay. I have a dark horse candidate, and I love The Big Lebowski.
Okay, not as much
The Big
as
Lebowski.
me.
It's
Not
eminently
as much as me.
quotable. It's
Not as much as
terrific.
me.
But I think my favorite Jeff Bridges movie is The Contender, where he plays the president of the United States and he wants the female vice president of the United States. It's a wonderful thriller that you don't see the end coming.
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Have you seen him in The Old Man?
Yeah, amazing.
Oh my god, it's just
Yeah.
I mean, so good. Just you.
Yeah.
It's like you believe it.
Yep.
Anyway, I just love
along
it.
those lines of him being a badass lawman or what have you. the Taylor Sheridan script, the movie with Chris Pine, Hell or High Water, where he plays the sheriff, or the bank robbery movie. So good. Understated. He's so good at the understated, like kind of
He's just so
cool
good at
guy.
everything.
Yeah,
Just when you think that he can't do that,
he does it.
then he does it.
Especially
And
with
it's
Big
like,
Lebowski. That shot.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I
amazing.
mean, that was just like, I want
But
that sweater.
rewatch The Contender. And
Okay, but The Vanishing was
oof,
like,
oof.
I always, that's kind of a point when it's like, do I really want to know?
Yeah. No,
You know
and
what I mean?
another great depiction of that in Kill Bill when the bride is buried alive and
Oh my God.
she karates her way out. That was
Oh
pretty
my
great,
gosh.
right?
So where did this, I've got to psychoanalyze
Yeah.
you,
Oh, I know
go?
exactly where it happened.
Where?
I know exactly where it happened. So growing up, my dad was a pilot, okay,
Mhm,
for United Airlines, lived out of a suitcase,
mhm,
and I was 6, maybe 7 years old, and
mhm.
my older brother would have been 10 or 11, okay, and open suitcase,
Wait a second, you guys are 3 years apart?
3.5, yeah, open suitcase, and my brother
Mhm.
says, "Hey, Brandon, I bet you can't fit in there."
Oh oh
Right?
my
But I'm a
gosh,
little
yeah.
listen, I've already been a little brother for 6.5 years. I
I
know his
believe me,
tricks.
I was a little sister. I
I
know.
know his tricks. I went, "Oh, yeah, right. Sure thing, Blue." His name's Blue. I'm like, "I get in
Mhm,
there, and then you lock me in." And you know what
mhm.
this son of a bitch did? You know what he did, Carolyn?
He locked you
He
in.
looks at me like
Mhm,
Oscar-worthy performance. "Brandon,
mhm,
you're my brother. I can't believe you think that I would do that to you. Oh my
mhm,
gosh." And I went, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." He goes, "I don't even want to play." I'm like, "No, no, no, no. Let's play. I'll get in." He
mhm,
goes, "No, I don't even want to anymore. You've
mhm.
ruined the fun by accusing me of something so terrible." I'm like, "No, look, I can get in. I can fit." Click, locks it, goes into his room, puts his Walkman on, turns up music. My mom's on the phone in the other room. 2 hours I'm in the suitcase.
Oh, hey, Brandon.
2 hours. I'm in there thinking that I'm gonna die, putting my mouth up to the thing and to take little breaths.
My God.
Yeah,
I've got one. I that is horrible. That
terrible,
that
terrible,
that
terrible.
that and I'm sure you never live it down, and he probably is so mortified when
No,
any
no,
party comes
he
up.
points and laughs. Ha ha, got you. He's a big brother
Oh my god.
to the
No,
bone.
I
He's a
but
big brother.
no, listen, I was mauled by a dog because of my big sister. Like
I
I
believe it.
know that.
Yeah, I
Like
believe
we
it.
had this little dog Susie Q, and we had this ferocious dog next door that had a leash at least a mile long. You know, it
Mhm.
was one of those with like the spike around the neck. Like this thing was like half German Shepherd, half Doberman Pinscher.
Yeah.
And our Susie Q runs over, and my sister's like, "Go get Susie Q." And I was like, "Oh," and she's like, "Go get Susie Q." And I was like, "Okay." So I walk across the street
Cute little
and I
pooch.
go get Susan Q, and all of a sudden this dog is like on me. And I
What?
turn around and I'm like running and I almost make it. I'm at the end of the leash. And then the thing just climbs on me, rolls me over, bites me on my face, bites me on my stomach, bites me on my back. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened
Yeah.
to the dog?
They put it down.
Oh
I mean,
wow!
it was a vicious dog. And
Did you
my
have like
I just
stitches and shit?
remember,
Stitches
oh yeah,
everywhere? Oh my
stitches
gosh!
everywhere. And I just remember like my dad was a police officer at
Yeah.
the time. And so he never put the lights on. Like never. Like we could never be like, "Oh, it's fun." And
Right.
it was so bad. My dad was driving me back from the hospital. And I was like, he's like, "Hey, you want me to put the lights on?"
Like, yes,
I was like, "Yeah, Dad."
I really do, Dan. Thank you.
I know. And that's when I knew how bad it was. You
Wow.
know?
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Did you
Yeah.
develop a fear of dogs?
I do, but I
Hmm.
try not to like I try just big dogs.
Yeah.
Um, but I try not to pass that on to my kids
Sure.
because,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's like,
Same.
but you have to think about those things.
My
Like you
wife said the
can't.
same thing to me. Like, you can't pass it on to your kid. Like, so when she got pregnant, and our doctor was at the Cedar Sinai Tower in Hollywood, And it was like, the 20th floor. And normally, like, if it was 30 floors or fewer, I would take the stairs and just like run the stairs, okay, to not get in an elevator.
Oh
Because
my gosh,
for
I
me
can
to get,
totally picture you.
no, listen,
Yeah, I'm just gonna run the
that
stairs.
was me. 100% that was me. Okay.
I know.
I'd get to the top. I'm all out of breath. But I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm doing it to stay in shape, not because I'm a weirdo and I hate elevators. But elevators were a real problem. And because the only way I would get in one, I had to be completely by myself because I didn't trust anybody to like a kid to fucking hit the button and then I'm a mess, right? So I had to go in by myself, right? And so one night, there's a very popular restaurant in LA called the Soho House. They're everywhere now, but back then this was like one of the only ones. And it's at the very, very top of this building at the end of the Sunset Strip. Okay. And they're super fucking fancy. They have like a dedicated elevator that goes up from the garage and whatever. And it's all bullshit, whatever. But it's a really small elevator. Okay. It's like a phone booth. It's probably bigger, but that's how it feels to me. And so I would never go to Soho House because of that elevator. But it was my friend's birthday, and he's like, "You got to go." I'm like, "Yeah, of course, I'll be there." Thinking that I'll take the stairs. No stairs available. You got to take the elevator. Okay, so everybody goes up like what? And I'm waiting for it to be alone, just for me, right? And I tell the guy, I'm like, "I got to go in by myself because I'm an idiot." My wife, everybody else goes up first. Finally, I'm alone in this little lobby, and it's like a Friday night in Hollywood. Okay, and it's a kicking restaurant. I'm like, and the guy's like, "All right, now's your chance." I'm like, "Awesome." I get in the elevator by myself. I'm doing my breathing, right? I'm barely keeping it together. The door's closing, and then a hand comes in, and the door opens up, and I'm like, "Oh, Christ." And I look up, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, so what am I going to say? No, I'm
You
sorry.
had to man up. You had to man
And
up.
I'm like, "Oh, no, sorry. You can't come in here. I need to do this by myself. I can't do it to the Terminator," right? And then, and here's what the worst thing about it is when people they just think that elevators you can just fuck around with them, right? And like stop the door from closing and like force the door open. That could mess it up. Okay, that could mess it up. And what does Schwarzenegger do? The fucking governor. He keeps it ding ding ding, keeps the door open like he's waiting for someone else because he can do whatever the hell he wants because he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you know who he's waiting for? Clint Eastwood. Okay, and like 3 other people. So it's all of a sudden I go from a spacious by myself elevator to packed with Hollywood royalty where I can barely breathe. I'm sweating. I'm having an anxiety attack, staring at the numbers the whole time. Listen, it worked out and it was fine. Okay. But it was very, very nerve wracking.
Well, were you fearing the trip down the entire time you were at the party?
No,
So you
you could always take stairs. There's always stairs down. Always. Because you have to.
Because no stairs up.
Correct.
But there was no, oh, look at you like schooling me. There's always stairs.
There's always stairs down for fire safety. You have to have stairs.
But you know what? Here's the thing about that story is that, and just, what happens there is that you never know what somebody is going through. I mean, truly, there's like memes about that. And it's so true.
Yeah.
Nobody would ever think that that's what you were going
Ever. People would think that I was like, this kid's going to be so stoked that he's in here with Dirty Harry and the Terminator. I'm like, no, I could give a shit. Okay. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe.
Right. So you had said in the past that you've worked through that now.
I have.
Is that true?
Because my wife said, listen, dipshit, you can't be taking the stairs up and down when we have kids. And you're not.
That's so funny that she just left your ass.
and you're not going to, abandon me in these doctor's appointments. You're going to be there. So fucking deal with it. And so, I came up with a mantra, basically I shortened it to just 2 words, telling myself elevators work, right? If the elevator comes down and opens, that means it just worked 2 seconds ago. It was operating perfectly, right? So chances are it's going to work again for one more trip. And so,
yeah, I mean, it's so crazy how, I think that anybody who would hear your story as a child would understand absolutely why, where that came from. I mean, that's some serious shit. That's 2 minutes.
Yeah. There's a lot of psychology that goes along with elevator rides, that I read about. So if you get in and you're the first person in an elevator, chances are you'll hit the button and you'll stay in that corner. Okay. For the whole ride. Like that's where you'll stay. The second person that will come in will go the opposite corner to be as far away from you as possible because that's how fucking strangers are. Right. and then opposing corners will come in. And that works for me because when I get in, I need to protect that panel from people coming in and messing with it. You could laugh.
You know, it's funny. No, I'm not laughing at you because I was thinking, what do I do? I always want to be by the panel so I can control it.
Yeah,
I want
got to
know
protect the panel. Got to protect the panel because some asshole little kid will come in and go and like hit all the things and maybe hit like the call button or the emergency stop, and then I'm ruined. I'm a
Okay,
puddle.
when you saw the movie Elf, were you dying?
I loved Elf. Yeah, I know.
I know,
It
but
was great. It was
I
great.
know, but the whole
Oh,
thing
of
with the
course.
elevator.
There was a place downtown. There still is. There's a studio, kind of just a collection of a studio complex, basically downtown, with a couple of office buildings that are pretty tall. And all of the casting was in the office buildings, and obviously all the shoots were in the sound stages. Okay, and so I'm going up there, and I have an audition for something up at the top, and waiting for solo elevator ride. Okay, and it happens.
Jesus, Brandon.
No, wait. This was the weirdest thing. My whole mantra, elevators work. Okay. Well, this one didn't stop working. For whatever reason, I hit the floor that I had to go to. Hold on. I hit the floor that I had to go to, and it went up and down, and then up and down, and up and down. And it didn't stop. It didn't stop. I think I cried a little bit. I needed to like pee. I was having an anxiety attack. I couldn't get it to stop. And then finally, I'm like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try each button to see if it'll stop at any. I just needed it to stop. And finally, I got it to stop. I get out of there. I lay down on the floor. I got my breathing normalized. Okay. I found the emergency exit, took the stairs down. So yeah, there's been some incidents in my life, but I got in an elevator 2 days ago, went up to the 16th floor. No problem.
I mean, I love it. I think it's great. And I think it's like, our spouses pushing us in directions that
agreed.
that it's hard. It's hard.
But Edgar Allan Poe, well-known claustrophobe.
This guy had a lot of issues.
Yeah, in a way with words. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So why did you pick Telltale Heart, which harkens all the way back to his fear of being buried alive?
Oh my gosh, hearken.
Yeah.
I was like talking to my husband about this because he's like, why did this take you so long? And I'm like, because you have to make a word like hearken. Like, how do you make that relevant today without sounding like a complete
Harken back.
Yeah, when you just said hearken.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It reminded me this story, and I was trying to remember if I first read it in, I think it was high school. It could have been college, but I absolutely believe I think it was high school. And I feel like that's where my love of literature was formed, by stories like this, where and also like I remember like the Metamorphosis, Kafka, and
Gregor Samsa,
Ranger, by Camus. And I didn't have the maturity to kind of understand all the different historical things going on with these, great works of fiction, right? But I knew, like, I just felt like I was drawn in, I feel like this is one of the stories where I just remembered this and it scared the shit out of me. And it's really like not that scary, but for whatever reason, I just remembered it all these years, as like a really great way to tell a story about complex emotions. You don't know all of the ins and outs. You don't know who's speaking. You don't know why the person was murdered, but the guilt involved, but you don't know if the person's crazy. You don't know what their motivations are. And so it's
I think you do know. See, this is what I love about literature. I think you do know that it's that the guy's crazy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because think about it, because that Poe did, right? You thought about it all through. Like, from where is he writing the story from? From where is he telling the story? Who's he talking to? But more importantly, where is he telling the story?
We don't know.
Right. So he was obviously arrested for it. So he's either in an insane asylum or in jail.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably in an insane asylum. And that's what makes it scary, is that we don't know what the motivation was to kill. And if there were something really explicit, I think Poe would have told us. And so I think it was just the narrator, his descent into madness because of the pale blue eye. Okay, the pale blue eye scared him almost to death. And it takes a madman to spend hours completely still, moving a centimeter at a time, and just standing in the darkness and standing over someone, feeling that power. Like, you've interviewed people who have talked about these serial killers who feel like they're God, like looking over this person.
This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
OMG, yes.
It's an absolute riot.
Woo!
And the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time. What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out of touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's almost out and fall's calling. Luckily, Nordstrom has everything you need for the season ahead, all under $100. Discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Mango, Princess Polly, Wave, Free People, BDG, and more. Whether you're planning a last-minute getaway, heading back to class, or refreshing your office looks, you'll find the latest trends and beauty must-haves without breaking your budget. It's easy, too, with free shipping, free returns, and in-store order pickup. Shop today, in stores, and at Nordstrom.com.
This episode is brought to you by Espolón Tequila. Slow, sticky, snoozy. They call these the dog days of summer. But Espolón? They don't do boring. Welcome to the Marg Days. Espolón Tequila. 100% blue Weber agave, born to shake up your summer. Just add lime, agave, and a little attitude. Visit espolontequila.com. Espolón Tequila, 40% alcohol, volume 80 proof. Copyright 2025 Campari America, New York, New York. Drink responsibly.
Right now, at the Home Depot, you'll find storage solutions made to fit your needs. Grab an HDX Tough Tilt to protect your tools. Or keep your sports equipment contained with reinforced snap-fit lids. Or stack up and make better use of your space with bins and totes built to last. Whatever you're storing, we've got the gear to keep it organized and protected at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
No, and I was reminded so much of Jack Spillman and just exactly what you're saying, where we don't know the power. I mean, that episode really, that two-parter, The Werewolf Butcher, if you haven't heard it, was one of our earlier episodes. And the power that this guy derived from being burglar, he sexualized the burglaries. I never understood that. And I still don't, but I understand it from like his perspective, I guess, based on the interviews and everything that I've heard and the people that I've talked to, is that there's just shit going on in people's minds that you would never think as an quote unquote average person, this is going on in their head.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I think that, like, yes, I believe that eye, for whatever reason, got into his head, manifested itself. Excuse me. And he had to feel justified in killing this person for it.
Yeah, because he could maybe see his secrets, or what would a crazy person, what would that fear be about an odd looking eye? Probably, obviously diseased with cataracts and can't see anything anyway, but probably, is scared into thinking that it's all seeing or all knowing or whatever. And how did he kill him?
I know, that's the weird thing.
Crushed him with the bed.
Crushed him with the bed. I know, but it's like I was trying to like roll it up. It was like, was this a mattress? And he just went, and then like I was trying to like picture that.
Yeah, crushed him with the bed, and then obviously went and retrieved some kind of tool to dismember the body, and went about it with a criminally insane amount of precision to collect all of the blood and to not leave a drop anywhere and to pull up the floorboards, and how wickedly pleased he was with his work at replacing the floorboards where no one could sense anything, right? And Poe is great because he gives it away twice, right? That as if a watch wrapped in cloth, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that he thinks he can hear the heartbeat. A lunatic would think he could hear the heartbeat. Right? A lunatic.
Well, and it's somebody who is like consumed with guilt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, or beforehand, because he thought he heard it in the night before he killed him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he thinks he hears it growing louder, and it was just his lunacy, you know, exacerbated by the police being there. First, he thought, he goes, "Oh, I'm going to show the cops everything. Hey, boom, and look at this, and here's the room, and here's all of his treasures, and no one took anything. So obviously, he's blah, 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 whatever." Yeah, and then just
I think that like he wanted the heartbeat to be stilled,
sure.
and he's like, he's dead, he's stone dead, and
Right.
then
Yeah,
right.
when
right.
I was taught this,
Mhm.
I remember I was a junior in high school, and
Well, that's when I must have read it in
Yeah.
high school too, because like okay.
so I was a junior in high school, and the interpretation for my teacher was that there's a, you know, maybe what Poe was getting at was that in the room, if it's completely dead calm and no sound at all, maybe he heard his own heartbeat, okay, and thought it was the man's, right, the victim's. And then afterwards, sitting in the room, that what he heard actually was, you know, the watch, the guy's pocket watch that he left on the body, that he mistook for the heartbeat and went crazy because there's this dismembered corpse that's still alive under the floorboards. And so putting those images kind of into my mind, and I'm 17, I went, holy shit, that was great. Because I had read Poe before, but I hadn't read, strangely, it would be like reading Stephen King, but like only reading like Rita Hayworth on The Shawshank Redemption, or only reading The Body, right? Not reading his horror, okay? Because the first Poe that I read were his Tales of Ratiocination, which with Dupin, the investigator, the inspector. So it's Murders of the Rue Morgue, The Purloined Letter, and then he wrote one called The Gold Bug, which is about a treasure hunt, which, you know, is just all just like, it has nothing to do with murder or horror. Well, the Rue Morgue obviously does. But it's more about this inspector who like predated Sherlock Holmes and was fucking amazing. So that was the Poe that I knew. And then I'm introduced to like Fall of the House of Usher and Cask of Amontillado and a lot of his poetry and The Raven and Annabelle Lee and all that. And really got into the madness of this guy. And he's from the Northeast, from Baltimore. It's, you know, I knew some hard hitting motherfuckers from Baltimore. So, you know, I get it. I can respect that town. But Cask of Amontillado was crazy. That gave me some nightmares because the dude.
So what did you think when you read the Telltale Heart?
Telltale Heart was great. I thought it was less about. By then I knew that Poe was a claustrophobic nut job, right? And you start looking for little pieces of that in his writing, okay? Because the author will leave breadcrumbs, you know, about what they believe or who they are, or, you know, idiosyncratic, you know, personality quirks or whatever. And so I was confusing because of, you know, the motiveless crime that we didn't really know, right? And that was scary. And then just how the writing builds towards the end, how louder. And he did a great job narrating it louder. And he's like, right? Like, it wasn't even a forced confession. The cops were barely even leaning on him, you know, but he felt like
I don't think they were at all.
No, not at all. But he was just in this, he felt like he was in this vice of confess, because everyone can hear it. How can they not hear it? Yeah. So I dug it. Amontillado was a little more difficult to get through because it was slower, and brick by brick, the guy knows that he's being buried alive. So that one got to me a little bit. But yeah, it was great.
Would you actually be able to? Obviously, you did because you read it. But like, if you have anxiety, a lot of times you want to stay away from the things that give you anxiety. But you looked for it in literature, then, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? Just to torture yourself?
No, because I didn't feel alone. I'm like, oh, there's other people like me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, you know what?
All we want is community, right?
I get it. I mean, I as somebody who has anxieties too, I totally I was laughing, but really I was feeling like, gosh, I'm so glad it's not just me. Like, as you were like, with all my weird shit that I have,
Yep.
So, I mean, I totally get it, but I also think that it's awesome that you worked through it,
Yeah, it's a little, listen, it crops up often, but what do they say about worry? It's using your imagination for something shitty.
Yes.
So, right.
And it
So
doesn't change anything.
no, it doesn't change anything.
It does not change anything.
So I try
it's
not
such
to
a
worry
weird
about it.
time.
Try not to worry about it.
We
But
have
then
some
I
very-
do. But then I do. I think about it sometimes. Like I remember when I was 16, there was another kid in my town named John Morgan. So we shared a last name. And my next door neighbors had a police scanner. Okay. And one night we were, my brother and I were just sitting at home. And my next door neighbor comes running over, pounding on the door, looking for my mom because she heard on the police scanner that a teenage Morgan was in a really bad car accident. Okay.
Why do you have a police scanner at
No,
home?
my neighbor had the police scanner. Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
They just do. I don't know. They just do. And so my mom was like, no, both of my boys are home. Like, what the hell's going on? And it was like less than like a quarter mile away, like through the woods. And so we run over there because we know where it is. And the cops are there and the lights are up. And I knew two of the kids in the car. Everyone lived, but it was really bad. Car was like wrapped around a tree and they were trapped. They couldn't get out of the car. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And a girl that I know that I grew up with, one of the kids in the car was this kid, Billy Primavera, really, really good, close friend of the family's. And this girl I knew was like sitting on the ground, holding his hand, like telling him that it's cool. They're coming with the like jaws of life and all that. And I'm trying to keep my shit together because I'm like, they can't move. Right. Talk about claustrophobia. And one of them's bleeding and there's broken glass everywhere and there's lights and it's such an anxious situation to begin with. And you don't have the freedom to move, right? To get up and leave and go and spread your arms and go like, okay, whoo, I'm all right. So it's in areas like that I still think about shit sometimes. But yeah, my brother, and it's not like he had zero remorse over it. Zero remorse.
That is such a big brother move.
To the point, Carolyn, where he would use it against me and he knew that I would fold up like a lawn chair if he just pinned my arms. Like I would freak out and I would agree to anything just for him to let me go. Yeah.
No. I mean, my sister used to take my legs and wrap them like back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like claustrophobic.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
where you can't, and she'd hover over me like this.
Absolutely.
And I'd be like, please. I mean, I get it.
Every family function, this story comes up. This story comes up. Every family function. My dad, when my dad got remarried, he bought a house in Virginia. He was flying out of the DC airports. Okay. Big house in the country. And he had a finished basement. Okay. Finished basement where when it was done, I'm like, oh, I'll sleep down in the basement. That'll be cool. I'd be like, okay, great. So pitch dark down there, like completely dark. Okay. Mm-hmm. Apparently, what happened was I woke up in the middle of the night, probably had to pee or something, I don't know. But I'm like 21, 22 years old. And I can't see anything. It's completely dark. Like they said in the story, black as pitch. Okay.
Yes.
And I start like putting my arms out, feeling where I am. Like I think I'm trapped somewhere. And I panic and I start kicking the walls. And I get these huge holes in the walls. Okay. Because I don't know where I am. And my brother was...
Did you say that you have night terrors too?
I did. So it was a combination of night terrors, meaning, hey, night terrors, meet claustrophobia. And then, ba-boom, right? It was insane. My brother comes running downstairs, turning on all the lights, going, what the fuck is going on? And I went, oh, yeah. I'm in Dad's finished basement. Do we know a drywall guy that we can get out here? Yeah, it was bad. And he didn't say, hey, man, are you okay? I feel. He started pointing and laughing at me like right then in the moment. Yeah.
I can't believe that you didn't bring this up like every time. You're just a forgiver, I guess. My God.
What am I going to do? I don't need the ball busting because that's what it's what it always turns into. I know my brother loves me, but I know all of that. It's great. But it's just too rich there's just so much material there to break balls that he can't help himself, I guess.
Well, we have some exciting news.
Oh, yes, we do. I'll let you do the honors.
This is an exciting thing, a turn that we've decided to take with the Murder Chronicles. And I don't really know how I can express the genesis. Like when we first started the show, it was basically going to be the Murder Chronicles and I was going to be the host and you were going to be the producer. And, it was great. And then we started doing the bonus episodes and people really, really started loving them. And I think that
I know the genesis. Let me cut in. I remember the genesis. So the genesis was I was at a podcast convention in Dallas and I met with the head of Apple Podcasts and they said, it's a great show that you're doing. If you could give us some bonus content that we could put behind a paywall, maybe we can get some subscribers. And this is when we were at our old network home. Okay. And so the head of the network back then, my boss, said, hey, start doing some bonus content. I'm like, what? Like what? He goes, I don't care what it is. Let's just take this Apple subscription thing out for a spin. And so we started just doing the bonus content. We're like, okay, I'll listen, as I'm editing and producing the show, and then we'll talk about it. And then things didn't work out with the our old network. And then we got the show away from them. And so we own the show now. And we have a new network home. The network is called Cloud 10. And Cloud 10 suggested that we rebrand the show. And so from henceforth, we shall be called, Carolyn?
Criminal Mischief.
Boom. Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Branden. So the content will be the same. Carolyn will still be driving the bus with the main episode every week. And then I'll dip in for the bonus content. And so you could expect us having a little bit more freedom, like with today's show. We went off the reservation a little bit with a Edgar Allan Poe story in honor of Halloween. But you can count on the same content. We're trying to grow the show. Hopefully within the next month or so, we'll have an expanded social media presence, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And we'll just kind of continue to grow the audience. So tell your friends and leave us comments and let us know if you have any ideas for us or stories that you'd like us to cover or ideas for our content. We'd be all ears. And in the meantime, thank you for hanging in with us this whole time. And we hope you stick around.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to not just doing murder every week. It'll open us up to some really, interesting cases where nobody dies.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
I think that'll be, I have one that I was going to surprise you with this, but I'll tell you now just because we're talking about the show and what could be different, which is, Alcatraz. That's something where nobody died, but there's some new stuff going on there. And I just interviewed somebody who's amazing. And so that'll be one of the shows that will be featured.
Great. I'd love you to cover the heist of the Gardner Museum in Boston, one of the biggest unsolved art crimes ever. That would be great.
I haven't even heard of that. So, yeah, okay.
The Gardner Museum in Boston.
And once we get our social media stuff up, definitely we'd love to hear your suggestions. I mean, we'd love to engage with the audience. And so please send any suggestions our way. Because
Absolutely. So until next time, Nation, we got to come up with a new name because it's not Murder Chronicles Nation anymore. Mischief Nation, you mischievous little bastards. No, that's not nice. We'll come up with something.
What? We'll come up with something together.
We'll come up with something, but in the meantime, you can still find us as the Murder Chronicles on Apple Podcasts. Your subscription will be the same. You don't have to refollow us. Everything will transfer over. But in the meantime, please consider supporting the great companies that support our show, and consider going over to Apple Podcasts, like I mentioned, leaving a review, rating us, maybe sharing us with your friends. And we hope, like you said, we hope you stick around. for the new incarnation of the Murder Chronicles, Becoming Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Branden. And we're just going to keep the train going. Anything to add, Carolyn?
Nope. I'm Carolyn Osorio with Branden Morgan, and we will see you next week.
Thank you very much, nation. Be safe out there.
The Murder Chronicles is a pie-in-the-sky production recorded live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We are produced by Branden Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. For Pie in the Sky Media, I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host. Thanks for listening.